Okay, so it's 441, which I like because it was 144, on the 16th, which is Sunday. Which yesterday I had a good day. I was out all day. Um, well, I mean, I was here in the morning. Once my sister-in-law got here and we went out for the afternoon and we went and had lunch and went and did some errands. I went over to their new house, which is so freaking cute. And the people who moved left a whole bunch of stuff. Like this is weird because when I left my place, I had been dragging around these chandeliers and I had hung up the chandeliers. I even had an electrician come out. And so I had these chandeliers hung up in my place. Well, when I had to leave and I only had 5 days, I had to cut a lot of the fat. And so I had to leave a lot of stuff. And I left the chandeliers. And just the other day, I was sitting there thinking, dang, man, I left those chandeliers. I don't know how, because I really like chandeliers. I was like, dang, I was thinking, I don't know. It wasn't just like thinking, oh, I'll never get another chandelier. But I was, it was kind of like that, like, oh my God, how am I getting another chandelier? And so anyways, I go over to their place and show me a room right when we first walk in because we went through the garage. And in the back of the pickup is this ginormous chandelier. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And she's like, oh, he's taking that to get rid of it. He's taking the trash. And I was like, what? I want it. And so she's like, oh, okay, you can have it. And so then there was another one. And then another one. The people who had this house had chandeliers everywhere. This one chandelier that they're keeping in the entryway, oh my God, it's spectacular. Oh my God. But the lady who had done all the lights, they were all like chandeliers and stuff. I was like, oh my God. So anyways, they're giving me some of those chandeliers and lights and stuff. And so whatever house I get, I've got all these cool lighting. And then, but it was weird because that is like manifesting. It's like something you want and it comes to you. It just works out that way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just been, it's been my life. And so just like I was saying, when I was looking at the lights and I put it out there, I want more lights in here. But I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know how long the string would be. I don't know how much I need. I don't know. I was just like, and then I come home and I open a box and there's the perfect one. It's the craziest thing. So, I can't even tell you how it fit exactly. So, anyways, that's how manifestation works. So you just put stuff out there and it comes to you. And, but a lot of people, they don't play that way. But I think it's becoming more present. So more people are starting to, catch on. Oh, I want this. And then it comes to me. And I don't have to go out and do a bunch of stuff. So anyways, it has worked for me ever since I was young. And, but, I had awareness of the spiritual side of the world before, people are just now waking up to it. Like I've lived my whole life knowing it. So, anyways, let me think what all I wanted to talk about. So, we had a good day. I have all these chandeliers now. Don't have a house yet, but I got the lighting. It's like, even though it seems kooky to people, because I'm sure they're sitting there thinking, well, where are you going to put all these chandeliers? Oh, I'll have a house. I'll have a house at some point. And, I'm manifesting more than one house, as a matter of fact, because I don't know. I have a big draw to not just being stationary, not just being in one place and living the whole thing, is being able to go out and experience different places and live in different places. So anyways, I'm sure I'll have more than one house once this, everything happens, which this was something. So this was some official guy who sits at the table with the senator. So I don't know what his capacity is, but he's a part of the governing force over Alaska. And so he said on October 8th that they received a memo from the military, and he was spouting names and stuff like that. I can't repeat those names. I don't know who the fuck they were. But it was like generals, admirals, shit like that. And so he said that they told them in this memo that they need to prepare, and they need to every 50 state, all 50 states have to be prepared for this. And so, and he said in territories, so it said every 50 states, which I thought we had 51 or something, but anyways, that's all this kookiness, because then when this stuff went down in Hawaii, then we find out, well, no, that's occupied territory, that's not fucking. So anyways, so however it goes, the people who are, apparently under the flag, then they said that every one of them has to get prepared, and they have to have the National Guard. And they told them that they had to have 350 people, protect the military protectors, whatever. And so the guy was like, well, what the hell's going on? Why do we need this? So he was trying to find out more. So him and the senator then started writing to this admiral or general or something, trying to ask, like, what's up? Why do we need this? And they're not getting any response or whatever. And he said that they told him that they had to be trained in like batons, whatever, the shields, different things like that. Like they were going to be in a war with the citizens or something. And so, he's like freaking out, and they're not responding. And he's like, what do we need this for? When are we supposed to have it? Why are we doing this? What is this all about? So, and he's like, on TikTok talking about it, like, what the hell's going on? And, but I left a message, and I just said, well, I'm just gonna, put this out there, because, my guess is that there's gonna be the breakdown in the bank, that, the banks are going to crash. And then, because this is going on in other countries too. And don't forget, when this began a long while ago, that it was, they had seen things in Looking Glass. Like there was a lot of looking and see what was going to go down. And so they know that this separation is coming, and this it's not like civil war. It is like half the people, or a portion of the people, lose it and go after the government. There's Miss Tootie Booty over here. So we got that serenade going. We got the snoring, we got the farting, we got it all. So I swear to God, I think Pipples have got a farty tummy. She farts so much. So anyways, which Stella rarely, but Archie, he's quite the little duder too. So, but anyways, it's just funny, because I've heard of people having dogs that just fart all the time. I would always be like, oh, but, and then I had Stella, who never did, and Winston didn't really. I remember him. He was a golden retriever. But, boy, she is just, God, nonstop. So, anyways, back to it. Okay, so, I said, I think probably the thing with the banks and the disclosure is going to cause civil unrest. There's going to be some people that are going to freak the fuck out. And who knows? I think a portion of disclosure is going to be, this whole world is a big fat lie. And there's some people who are resistant to that at this point. They're too focused on the TDS to fucking pay any attention to that shit, which I'm going to talk about too. And so because it's showing more and more, and it's like a handicap. And so anyways, I think, that's what it's going to be about, is that there's going to be a certain amount of people, and it could have to do too with the medical, but something in the system failing confirmation, something in the system failing, and then the people, a group of the people freaking the fuck out, and then going and I don't know, because it seems like back in 2020 when what was the thing that set all that off? Was it the sickness? No, it doesn't seem like it. But you remember when that group, which was a couple of groups, run by the SOROS, and they were being, funded, and then they, it's a group with the ants and a group with the BMs, and so they were all out there, RIOTINGN, and the C with the N and the N was pretending like it was nothing going on, which was the weirdest shit. Because I was on Twitter then, and it was, you would see stuff live all the time. And they were, it's when they were, even knocking over statues, painting on them, burning things in the street. It was like crazy looting. It was insane. They were little fire rocket things into like the police station in Oregon. Like it was crazy. In Seattle, they made their own city inside the city, and it was wild. And so I think it's gonna be kind of like that, like this battle, but it's not gonna be it's like civil unrest for a certain group of people. And I think that's why this is such a slow rollout, is because they're trying to reduce that amount of people. And it's difficult to pull people out of their mind control, because it's like they're all under the MK, which is created a severe disorder. And I saw another video of a psychologist, and he was on the news on Fox, and they were interviewing him, and he was saying that 75% of his patients, so keep this in mind too, because when you roll in these numbers, it's like, well, there's a lot of people who aren't going. So it's not like 75% of all people. This is 75% of the troubled people. And so he said that they have a severe disorder, and they are obsessed with Donald, and that it's driving them crazy. Like he said, that he's got this huge amount of people that come in to see him. So out of all of his customers, all of his patients that come in, 75% of them come in with these same complaints. This is fucking MK Ultra, man, I'm telling you. So they created this, the TDS. They created it. And and that could be what the people are going to react to, that they've been under this mind control and they don't realize it. And maybe that's going to be the disclosure thing, to realize like you're under control. So anyways, we'll see. But something is going to be, something about disclosure, something about a scene, and something that is like the system failure in the reaction of some of the people. So that's what I think, that this guard is being pulled into different cities to try and keep the civil disorder and disruption to a minimum, because a huge portion of the people aren't going to have the same reaction. A huge portion of the people. But even when you break it down to the MAGAs and stuff like that, a lot of them don't even see the crashing of the system. They don't see, like a lot of people don't see what's really going on. And so, but there's people who do. And so it's kind of, to me, the guard is there to protect the people from the disorder, because there's going to be so much disorder from the people as they kind of come out of their stupor or something. But anyway, so the psychologist said that they come in with these same complaints. They all have these same complaints. And they can't sleep. They can't eat. They can't do this. They can't do that. They can't try. Everything is a bother. And he said within a couple minutes, they all start bringing up Donald. It's Donald. It's his fault. Everything is his fault. And they even see him on something, it ruins their day. Their day is destroyed because seeing him and stuff. Like this complete crazy, and he's like, nobody should have this effect on you. There shouldn't be anybody out there in the world that you're this obsessed with, that they can just destroy your day and stuff. And so he's got this huge amount of patience he's trying to work with. And, but it is all this TDI. Now, I don't even know his awareness of MK Ultra or anything like that. But anyways, he's trying to work with all these people. But even when he's saying like 75% of his patients, it's like, that's not 75% of the people. That's the thing. It's like, we don't know. I mean, we're seeing these people everywhere, but it's like, they're super outspoken. They're super kooky, man. They're, I mean, just the hypocrisy behind, you know, yeah, we're into same-sex, you know, sexual fun, but if it's Donald doing it, suddenly it's a problem. And besides the fact that even if they knew him at the slightest bit without any bias, they would know, like, that is the most absurd bullshit, that he'd be fucking blown, but give me a fucking break. And this guy is way more of a, like the ladies, than the, you know, like that. No, just give me a fucking break, man. Yeah, and that's one thing too. Yeah, one minute they're like, oh, he's grabbing pussy, and then the next minute, oh no, he's blowing it. It's like, oh my God, you guys stop and listen to yourself. Even when he said about the grabbing, he was, what I heard him saying was like, I could walk in and these girls just, you know, because I've got money and I've got power, that they throw away all their integrity. It's like, I just go up and grab them by the, you know, and they would be like, oh, here, I'm all yours. And that shows a lack of integrity on the women's part. That's what, to me, I heard him saying. I didn't hear him saying, yeah, I just walk around grabbing ladies while they're pushing. That's good. No, I heard something different, but we all hear what we hear. And anyways, so this huge amount of people who got the TDS, which is being more and more apparent. I mean, no matter how absurd this stuff comes out, and these, to me, these emails are manufactured or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. But they, but I mean, these people manufacture a whole entire people. They manufacture history. They manufacture, like, manufacture some emails. That's like, oh, that's, you know, one afternoon. There's a problem with that. They just tell the computer, hey, say that, and then they spit it out and say, hey, look what we found. It's like, oh, that's funny. You couldn't find it when Joe was out. What? Give me a fucking break. So, anyways, so now they, that to me is what something, I mean, is they've been the slow rolling, trying to get people to come out of their stupor, but something's going to hit hard. Something's going to hit hard, and there's going to be a very brash response system. And I think that is why that they have the guard to come, is to guard against the destruction of, like, the looting, the destroying things, and then also people getting hurt. Because even when that was going on, the people who were out in the streets going nuts, they would go out, because remember at that point too, we couldn't go inside restaurants. There were still people who had to go out to eat. It was like, oh no, I gotta get out to eat, man. And so they were all outside eating in patios and stuff, and these people were coming up, taking their food, like it was violence against regular folks that they saw that weren't on their side, that were just trying to, you know, live their lives. And so, and, you know, that group was also being led by the SOROS. So they were, you know, assigned a certain way. So I don't know. You know, but I think there's going to be a civil unrest, and it is happening in other countries. And so that's what I think is something to do with disclosure, something to do with the system failing, if it's the banks or whatever, because in some of these other countries, when shit has gone down, the banks have closed and people can't get to their money and they start panicking. And there was, who was this guy? This guy, was it a dream? Was it a book? It was something. It seems that, and I can't remember what or who it was. It seems like it was something, though, from like 20 years ago. And he had said that this thing was going to go behind the sun. Then it was going to come out. So we're already to that part where it's come out. But on the other side of the sun, so the side that we don't see, he said that there's going to be these, how they keep having these solar flares and stuff. So there's going to be this massive solar flare on the back side of the sun, which is going to cause this huge thing that's going to happen. And he said that it's going to put out it's going to knock out like the electricity, the grid, and all this stuff. So, and he said there will be a sign, something's going to happen in the sky when this goes down, when this solar flash thing on the backside goes down. There's going to be something spectacular happening in the sky. He said lots of people are going to be going out to look at it. He said when that goes down, don't be one of those people to go out and look at it. He said get your ass to the store and get some canned food and stuff. Don't forget, too, to don't whatever you get, it can't be something that's going to be getting cooked, because you're not going to have a way to cook unless you've got like a grill. If you got a grill, you could cook. And then you're not going to have electricity to keep food good for a while. So it's way more of food that you can just eat. And, which will be rough with the dogs, you know. That's the thing. I need to get, an extra. I used to, at my other place, I used to have an extra bag of food, of kibble, so that make sure that they had food. So that's what I need to do, is get a bag ahead. And so that no matter what, they have something to eat. And then, because he said it's going to last 3 weeks. And he said in the midst of the 3 weeks, though, that people are going to start freaking out because it's going to be dark. There's not going to be electricity. There's not going to be food. Stores won't open. You won't be able to use your ATM machine. You won't be able to get gas. Nothing's going to work. And so he said that there's going to be a huge amount of people that are going to freak out. And that's where you got to be safe too. So that could be the thing too. And I don't know where this, I can't remember if it was something in a book that somebody had written, or if it was a prophetic, if this was a known prophecy person. I don't think it was Edgar Casey, but it was somebody. And I don't remember if it was a prophetic dream. And I don't remember if it was from 20 years ago or 2 years ago. And I don't know how it is, you know, so publicly out there, you know. So it seems like it would be something that, I don't know. But, and then also, so I just saw this thing about Sammy Hagar too. So Sammy Hagar, he said, I think it was like in 1967 or something, he said, that he got abducted by aliens, and they gave him a whole bunch of downloads. And then so like 25 years later or something, he wrote this song. And he said that when the stuff was going to go down in 2025. And he said that what, I just saw this, let me think. So he said in 2025, because he said that the divide would happen in 2025. In the comments, you know, like this one person was like, well, I choose Jesus. And I wrote, the divide, this is the thing I think that the people don't understand. The divide isn't red or blue. The divide is between love and hate. It's between compassion, acceptance, and control and anger. And that is what the people need to work on. That's what I've been fucking saying this whole fucking time. And, it's bringing it more to the surface in a lot of people, but they're not working on it. But it is bringing it to the surface. And so but that's where we're going to divide. So it's not like you have to pick a side over red or blue or any of that stuff. The side that you need to be leaning into is independence. And that's why I said this person is like going to pick Jesus. I said, well, it's the divide is away from dependency of a savior. That's dependency. That's needing a savior. The divide is going to go towards independence and somebody who is loving and caring for themselves, saving themselves and saving others through love and caring and compassion and putting out, themselves, as it's like doing God's work. It's being in service for the whole. And so that's what you got to keep in mind. I mean, when this divide happens, it's going to be people's hate and their that's what's going to pull them in the other direction. Their fear, because hate comes from fear and biases, and so they have all of this fear built up against Donald, which it's driving them insane. But it's all manufactured because it's not real. It's not real. It's like, yeah, he's not perfect and he does stuff, but I can see that he's meant to do stuff to create this catalyst, this bringing stuff to the surface. So that is like his purpose. And I guess that's rain, but there's a bunch of rocks right out here, like gravel, which I'm going to make a bigger space because we got little diggers here. But I sounded like somebody was walking across the rocks. I was like, what? Creepy. But I think it's rain dripping. So anyways, which it wasn't raining a little while ago. But it's supposed to rain today, tomorrow, and the next day. Which the fucking skies. I did another video like last night, even when my brother and my sister-in-law were leaving. My brother pulls up and goes, just look at that sunset. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, no shit, I'm out here trying to videotape it. Like, it's crazy looking. And some of this stuff, even in the videos that I've been doing of these sunsets and sunrises, they don't show standing looking, it doesn't do it justice as to what the video shows. Not at all. They are fucking crazy looking. The sky is definitely, there's some crazy shit going on in the sky. So something that to me seems like a real reasonable thing is like if something occurs in the sky, and because we've got so much going in the sky, and then it knocks all the stuff out, and then people are kind of like stuck, and then it's going to create like turmoil, like people will freak. So it can be, there's multiple things, but that's what it's going to be. Like the people who don't see are going to freak out and overreact and panic. So there's going to be mad panicking. And that will lead to looting and stuff like that. But I would think that if they have the guard in different places, that they would have emergency. So we don't need you to loot and bust into this place. We need you to come, over here, and we'll give you what supplies you need. You need water? Do you need this? Do you need that? So I don't know. That would just be, what I would think. That if they know this is coming, which I think they do because they have this looking glass situation, that they knew to prepare for it. And I think that they are trying to get us to be prepared by all of these different things leaking out and disclosure and stuff like that, and preparing us for thinking bigger. But anyways, it's, even though it's like such a slow roll for a lot of people, it's like they need it slow. And then, we have this whole thing where they have been making people, I don't know how else to say it, just making people dumber. Like, there's teacher after teacher after teacher saying, like, these kids, they don't, like, you don't want to stick your kid on a device. You want your kid to develop. You want your kid to develop creativity, its ability to think and stuff like that, not dependency on a device. And that is the whole thing too, is this divide is going to be between like independent and dependent, control and freedom. And that's where our divide is occurring. So it's not, pick a side on politics or something. No, it's pick a side of where your soul is at. Where's your soul? Are you all into hate and division? Are you dependent on a savior, or are you independent and going towards becoming your best self, your best version? And that's what you're bringing to the table. That's what you're bringing to a new reality. That's the creation of a new reality. So it's not like these people are failing, whatever side you go. It just makes a difference on which direction you go. And when you are still in the mode of dependence and hate and division and all that, you're going to go back in and learn more lessons to pull you out of that energy, because you're like trapped in the dark. So you got to work your way out of the dark to get to the light. And so anyways, that's still going to be going, which I also just saw a girl, and this is one of these people that talk to ChatGPT all the time. And so she said something about, well, what are you talking about? So that you're saying that we are all AI. And he goes, well, let me clarify what I'm saying, is that we are all an intelligence that is similar to an AI, and you are in a simulation, and you have forgotten that you are in a simulation. So the simulation has become real to you. And that is accurate, because we are an energy source, and that we have an intelligence, we have a conscious state, and we have been being used by other beings that are beyond our abilities, or I wouldn't say just beyond our abilities, because we have more abilities when we're outside the game. But when we come into the game, then we're coming, like I've said, we're coming into their world. We're coming into their realm. And he said, like, like you forget, this is your creation. You came here for this. And so you get in here, and then you feel like you're a victim. You're in prison. They're out to get you and all this stuff. It's like, but you came here to conquer, to overcome, and to find yourself. So it is, the game is for you. It's for you to experience you. It's for you to discover yourself and overcome the obstacles and stuff. And to be sucked into a world of dependency, or sucked into a world of needing a savior, is taking you backwards. And so that's why you got to work back towards yourself and away from this angle of dependency. But that is that's where the divide is going to happen. And the divide is going to happen. It's whatever it's going to be. If it's going to be, and he said that we're going to see, how did he say it? It's in a song. We're going to, something about see the ones that leave or something. So, which that makes me think that, again, that the age of Aquarius, this space, is going to become this more positive thing. And the people, when my mom is always talking the rapture, I'm like, yeah, but I don't see the rapture as being the positive. It's like, to me, the rapture is going to be the negative energy leaving the positive. And she sees it the opposite. And I'm like, but my perspective is the heaven on earth, and that we're going to go into heaven on earth through the creation, through us all going in that direction and creating this new world, this new scenario, and that the others are going to be raptured. They're going to be going out to some place they're more in alignment with. So to me, that's what it's going to be, this rapture thing. I don't see it as being like, oh, they're all going to go to heaven. It's like, well, maybe they're going to go home and go back up into the heavens, or they're going to go to, a lot will go probably to Life Review place and go towards that kind of thing to go over all that they learned, and that may, propel them into, completion and going. Some are going to go back into other experiences to continue the cleanse because they are still overcome by the dark. So that is, it's some other things coming into my mind too. So let me see. So the light, the dark, the AI, the similar, let me see. God, I swear to God, if I don't stop right when I see it, then, but it's hard because you're talking about this, and this is flying by. It's like, I gotta grab that. So sometimes I gotta wait to come back around or come back in. So, this thing that's coming, and it seems like for all these different things and these different prophecies and stuff like that it's close. And then we also have, like all of the natural disaster thing, that whole thing picking up speed. And there's gonna be a lot of stuff, man. Like, I don't know if, like, when the solar flare, like if there's a solar flare were to happen on the back of the sun and it started knocking things out, which would cause a huge ripple into the surface, and which would create more energy that would set off the tectonic plates. So volcanoes and earthquakes would start happening at the same time, and we would all be cut off from each other. We'd have no communication, so places would be kind of on their own with their own disasters occurring. And so that would be a lot of people leaving at the same time. And then at some point that we all start, coming back together and going towards the creation of rebuilding. Oh yeah, because I saw this guy. This was one of the things too. Is what was this guy talking about? But he was saying the same thing that I had been saying. So he said he was talking about the sun, the star, the rotation, the firmament, and all that kind of stuff. But he was saying too, is like, when you think about all these places that we are in layers, that is what I have been saying and saying and saying. We are not just like all spread out on this thing where they're having us fly around. No, we are in these, we're in like these layers. We're in realities. And so this creation of this sky and stuff like that, because it's weird, because like, all day long the moon is out here. So then you think, well, how would the people in other places not have a moon? Well, it's because we're in these layers, so they could have it. It's like, it's weird, but it's not at all like what we think. Like, you got to think way outside of the box over what this world is, and people try and put it into an order of them being able to understand it, and it's got to be so linear, and this goes to this and all that stuff, but it's not like that. Time is it's a focus. It's where you put yourself, and all these different things. It's like okay, so think of yourself of like Tron. So Tron was in this movie a long time ago. It was Tron was like a fella who got shrunk down, I think it was, to go inside the body. And which, when he went inside the body, it was like going into space. It was going into this other alternate world or something. So so think of yourself being Tron. You are the experiencer, and you go into this world, this universe, and in this space, there's all these things happening. And so, and I think of it like in a brain. You have all these thoughts going. So you have all these thoughts going, and you can focus on a thought, turn it into a fantasy. You turn it into a dream. You can, you can focus on something, but you still have all these other thoughts. You have all these other things going on. So that to me is the universe. That to me is what time is. It's all these things going like in the brain, these synapses popping off, and you could go into one and focus on it and become into that reality. And that reality would be that just this space of experience. It isn't like I think people want to put it too much in the solid, like flesh and blood, like we're flesh and blood and all this is real and stuff like that. But it's not. It is, we are here to experience it as real, but it's not real. And even though it feels solid and we think we feel solid, but that is like the illusion. That isn't true. And if the vibration were to change, this would all just kind of fizzle. It wouldn't blow up. It wouldn't, it would just fall apart. And so, so this whole thing were to change vibrations, which we're in this process of doing, which this may be some occurrence that happens. So as we change vibration, everything falls apart. Everything of that vibration falls away. And then we would be standing there as just an orb. So we would just be there as an orb, and everything would be gone. And that would be quite the great awakening. All of a sudden, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, look at what I really am. And this whole world is gone, but now what do I want? I want another world. I want another experience. So in your experience, you as the experiencer cannot go past the vibration that you hold. And so that's what we're working on here, is raising our vibration so that we can go to more adventures and more experiences. But in each of the vibratory area, each system is opportunity of growth and expansion. So those are what raises your vibration. But because like I've said before, to me, like I think just going into the heavens would just be at some point of eternity, of eternally just living in the heavens. You'd want to go in and have experiences into places and interactions and stuff like that. And so here we can come in and we can have these interactions with all these other beings that are trying to experience and figure themselves out and go through all these things that are expansive to our being and our energy. So, but in the experience, going into the lower vibration, that is also run or manned by these lower vibration beings that are all about control, and they don't have compassion. They don't care. That's a weakness. And to care about anything is a weakness. Well, that's a lower vibration. Caring about things is a higher vibration, and giving value to things. And so that's another thing where we're leaving those lower vibration of like killing animals, not caring. Is it was for one thing, yesterday we went into the first Albertsons that was ever made. So the guy who invented Albertsons lived here, and his first prototype Albertsons is still in existence. So we went there yesterday. It was cool as shit, man. It was like, I don't even know. It was like restaurants and groceries and everything. And like, it was huge. It was the biggest grocery store. I don't know if it's the biggest what is that? Like, uh, whatever. It's a big ass grocery store. And it was different than other grocery stores. It had like, like the bakery was like a real bakery. It was like a Asian food restaurant in there. There was like a freaking cafeteria, pizza place. It was like everything. Like it was like a food court at a mall. And then you had a whole bar with groceries and stuff. And it had a lot more groceries than most stores. Like you had a lot more variety and stuff. And anyways, it was cool. And then the fucking seafood thing. Oh my God. The seafood department. They have a butcher. They have all these different kinds of meats and stuff. Like it was crazy. But anyways, I saw these 2 octopus that were dead, obviously. And to me, octopi are alien beings. They're other beings. There's so many animals that are, well, everything has a soul. It just depends on its own conscious state. But everything is experiencing itself. And some are more conscious of what they're doing and, they're what they're here for. But also it's kind of like an assignment. But everything grows and expands from completion of their assignments, like going through what they go through. And so, but a lot of these beings, like I look at elephants and I see beings, all these different animals, like, are conscious beings that are here for experiencing. And yesterday or last evening, I saw this guy. I've seen him a few times, but he goes and he plays his guitar and he sings to different animals. And there's a few guys that do this, and the animals just always come over, and they're just they love it. Animals love music. Even I've seen these people, they'll show their birds at their house and they'll turn on music and the birds will start dancing and singing and all sorts of stuff. They get really into music. And that's how music is to me. Like it's in your soul, like fuck. And so so this guy playing guitar and stuff. So the first one I think I saw was I don't know if it's the sanctuaries or whatever it is, but the lions were, they weren't in a cage, but they were on another side of a fence. But so the lions, as soon as the guy starts playing, the lions come over like, oh, hell yeah. And they come over and they just go real calm. They just got real calm. They start doing these big yawns like they're trying to sing along. And they're just like, you just see the peace in their eyes like, oh, this is it, man. I love it. And then it was showing all different animals. And the turtle, the giant ass turtle, came up and was putting his face right on his face. The white tigers had tigers. It had a bunch. I've seen a bunch with the elephants. There's one I had just seen this morning with the elephants, and they came running over to the guy, and they start like trying to blow their little horns and stuff. And I was like, just watching elephants and watching the way they move and all their stuff. It's like, these are like, if we all came out of our bodies, it's like these are like equal to us. And we override them. Like we overpower so many of these other animals that are here to experience. But if we all came out of our body, like if the lights go out and all that's sitting here is the orbs, we would see like, oh, they're the same as us. They're the same as us. What is wrong with us? What are we doing? Like we are monsters. Like fuck, dude. And like we're scared of monsters. We need to be scared of our fucking selves. That's what we need to be scared of. We're the fucking monsters. So but anyways, all these animals became so docile. Some were trying to sing along. Some were, it was just the cutest thing. And it shows how much like, I don't know, music and the soul and stuff. And some of them started dancing, start moving with the music. And but anyways, yeah, if the lights went off, if everything went off, this reality glitched out, and the lights go out, and everything kind of, the vibration changed, and everything kind of just dissipated, and we were all just kind of souls standing there, because we'd still be there. And all of a sudden we're looking around, and it's like, oh my gosh, you would see the souls, you would see all the other souls, and you would see, like, God, man, I'd treat those like shit, man. Yeah, I mean, people's pets. I mean, the way that we have taken animals and used them for our amusement, enslaved them, murdered them for food, is, yeah, we don't have much respect for other living things and what they're there to experience. But see, they're also, in the bigger scheme of things, they are here so we can see this about ourselves. We can see this hierarchy that develops, and why it is that we need to learn to have more respect towards all living things. So that's more like what we're here to learn. But it's like you have to be on that level ready to learn it. And you can't force yourself. If your lessons are still to learn, about division and saviors and biases, then you're going to learn that. It just depends on what it is you're here to learn. And so your soul knows. It's like it's in your, it's built into your flight plan. It's a part of your transits. It's a part of your experience. So your ride's going to take you right where you need to go. And so whatever you're here to experience, it's not like you've got to figure it out. You got to get up in the morning. What am I here to experience? What am I here to experience? But it is good to be more aware of what you're experiencing and why you're experiencing it and what you should do through the experience. And because that is your learning and your growth and stuff. So anyways, but that is, that's what it's all about to me. And so, and I don't know, I don't know how whatever's going to play out, but that's why I think that the National Guard is going to be everywhere, though, is because of what is going to play out, which to me, Candace has a big role. Like when I very first saw her, which I think was probably around 2020 or 2021, like I had no idea who this person was. And then when I saw her and heard a lot of the things she was saying, I was like, this lady has a role in this world, in this awakening thing. And then there was all this whole thing, I don't know, she said something against Donald or something, but that's all a big part of the show too, man. This whole thing is a big fucking show. And so then you got all these people turn on her. It's like, this is what people have got to see in themselves, how they just turn on people and stuff. And so then she started exposing a lot of stuff. So she's been exposing things, and I think her whole thing with Charlie, I think that their whole thing is about helping people to awaken and see the dark world behind the world that we believe in. And anyways, yesterday the thing I saw her talking about was Courtney Love, and she said that Courtney had said that she wanted to get in contact with her, and so this was going through somebody or something, and so then Candace found out, and then so she got back in touch. So anyways, but they ended up communicating, and she said that the stuff that Courtney was saying would have been way too far-fetched. There's a lot of people who would be like, oh, bullshit, you're lying, this is bullshit, and they wouldn't believe her. But Candace, because she's a part of the awakening and knows a lot of stuff and is aware of a lot of things, then she, which you don't know on any of the people on what level, and because still religion is following. And so anyways, but she said, so I can only remember a few things like Courtney had said, but so Courtney had said that I think her parents were like hippies, and they were in the Haight-Ashbury place. in that area, which was a big testing zone for the C and the, the I and the A. So, and that also, don't forget that they are the ones that, were the creation of the family of Charles out there at the Spawn Ranch. And so, like, they had certain places that they were going and testing certain things. So she was a child who was born to these hippie people that were being tested on or whatever. So she said even when she was 3 years old, they were already giving her the C, and they were giving hallucinogenics. So she was taking them by the time she was 3 years old, and they were trying to figure out how to be in control of other people's minds. And so, and they've been doing this for a long time. That's the whole thing behind all of this. From the Spawn Ranch murder in Rainham and shit, that's where it kind of backfired, and then they had to have a throw guy, a fall guy. So they had to create a fall guy, which the obvious one would be the what is that called? It's been on my mind a lot lately. The convict. So obviously it would be the convict would be the likely fall guy. So that fell onto Charles. And so but they were still doing all these testing on all of these hippies during this period of time in order to try and figure out how to control people through their minds and stuff. But look where we're at now. And I mean, they've got control of these people's minds. It's so weird. I mean, these people are going to doctors and they are upset, like they cannot, and it's so weird because they don't even see, they can't hear or see what's really going on. It's so weird. So weird. But anyways, so Courtney had said that she did not, like what everybody accuses her of with Kurt. She said she didn't do that. It was, but she said when you are in this system that they cannot let you have so much control. So like when somebody has a big following, they have to take control of that person. And if they can't control that person, then they have to destroy them. And so that was more what happened with him, that they had to destroy him. And then they come up with these storylines like a fall guy. And so anyways, I don't know what the whole interview is. I don't know if she's going to say more stuff about it, but she said that Courtney told her a lot of stuff. And so, and don't forget, she is also supposedly been listed from these flight logs. And but then are some of these people under some sort of control where they are trying to force them to be lures and handlers and stuff like that? Because if she was like, well, I'm gonna go to this party, you want to come with me? And then they would say, well, we want that guy and we want that guy and we want them at this party, so you go out and you get them to come to this party. And they've got all these different ones in all these different things. So I don't know if she was used and she got away from it, or if she just had awareness of it, if she was invited to some of these parties and went there and was like, oh man, this is a bad scene. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know all of her stuff. Because, but that's the thing too with these people who are so caught up in these fucking logs, which I've seen other people saying the same thing as me. Like, this is ridiculous. You guys are so focused on this one motherfucking list when there's like fucking all these people out around us all over the place that are doing the same shit. Like, you think there's one motherfucking guy and there's one motherfucking island and there's what, and all their whole fucking focus is that they just want Donald on there. They just want, it's like, this is mental. Like, all this shit is going on all around us. We got fucking people going down. We got judges. We got lawmakers. We got all these people. People who are making the rules and the laws for you are out here People who are pretending to be holy are out here. Like, and you guys just want to focus on Donald? Like, give me a fucking break, man. And then if you even were open and listening, you'd hear that the lawyer said, like, no, he's not on any of this shit. He was the one who was coming in and helping us take these people down. So, whatever, however it's going to be that they're going to wake up to this, can you imagine? Like, it's going to be like it's like a hysterical person, and you slap them once, they're still hysterical. You slap them harder, they're still hysterical, then you just whack the fuck out of them. And that's what we got coming. It's like the whacking the fuck out of them. And it's like no more, like it's the universe that's coming in with the whack. It's something big coming in that's going to whack people awake. And that's what's going to cause this civil unrest, this civil distress. And that's why I think that they're trying to put these other, the guards around to help to manage the insanity that's going to occur, because these people are going to lose it. And I think that they know they're going to lose it because they've seen it. They saw it on Looking Glass. And I swear to God, I think that is this whole thing, why there's been this slow trying to poke holes in the story, is to prepare people. But they've got people so mastered under this mass mind control that they know what they're working against. That it's like, we can only do so much. We can't save them all. And so, but, all of this slow roll going towards this, trying to poke holes in the story, trying to get people to wake up, trying to get people to come out of it, is been, like what our world has been for a while. But then the universe, like I said, it's like slap. Nothing, slap. They're still hysterical, slap. But now the universe is going to come in, and it's just like going to pull it's going to pull the whole shit down. Everything is going to just fall apart real quick. And that is why you got to be more prepared too. Not just prepared with stuff to eat, but prepared emotionally and mentally, and be aware, pulling yourself out of the stupor, pulling yourself away from the mind control. That's why I've said you've got to break programming. You got to pull past the indoctrination and all of the lies that we've been told. And it's such a fucking huge lie. I've been in this conversation lately still with somebody of when you have the awareness of the spiritual world, and you've been talking to beings and stuff like that, and people think you're crazy because they don't have awareness of it. So, and we've been told as a society that is mental. They've even come up with diagnoses, and that you need to be medicated, you need to be locked up. If you see things and hear things that other people don't see and hear, then you are got to be locked up. But luckily for me, mine started when I was so tiny. I was 3, and so so to me, like, I'm just not, I mean, it's been my whole life. So, and even when I tried to tell people, and people are like, oh, that's not true, that's not true, that's not real, that's not real. But I knew it was real. But, if it was something, because for some people it starts like when they're 18, and then it's like, oh, well, that's called schizophrenia. But I feel fortunate, that mine started at such a young age that it was like, there's, I knew, this is my whole time I grew up, talking to these other beings, knowing, like how telepathy works and what they're telling us. And I knew we were in this weird science experiment. I knew we were in this like zoo kind of place. I knew that we were being lied to about how we got here and what we were doing here. I knew there was a bigger purpose. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I knew that people are, well, there's a lot of people still lost to it. I mean, they're sitting there asking ChatGPT, what does it all mean? What are we doing here? It's like, so, but they can't diagnose people who are like 3 years old as being mentally ill. So that to me is like, I know I'm not mentally ill. I know this is real. I know all this stuff is real. And I've seen evidence after evidence after evidence. But then, a lot of the people who are gifted, they've trapped them into this insecurity and going against learning to, because you got to learn how to trust yourself. You got to learn how to trust your instincts and to tune into this other reality, this other part of reality, this other world. And so, but they want to keep people distant from that. And anybody who is more inclined to that, they want to say that something's wrong with them, which I think that's also a portion of the people who they try and say are on the spectrum and stuff like that. I think are just in a different vibration. They're in a different alignment. They're in a different tune, a different tone. And so, and you don't know, for some of them, you don't know what their experience is, but I would say they're probably talking to beings all the time. Even if they're not talking to people in their house, they're probably, they can just sit there and be looking like they're doing, this, and their eyes are closed. But they're probably in another world and talking to other beings, and we've got a lot going on. So it's not like they're just lost in this little jiggle. That is a creation of energy, too. Like if you've watched Daniel Scranton, when he is... channeling, he always does these things, like he does like this movement. And which I saw another psychic guy talking about, Bashar, and I said this a long time. There's a few that I've said this about, that people go out and listen and trust. And then this other guy too said the same thing, as like, listen to what it is they're saying, listen to what the information is. If it's negative, low vibration, then that is what the source is, where their information is coming from. Everybody thinks because someone's channeling or somebody is bringing information from the spiritual side that it must be good information. No, you got to use your discernment and figure out if it's good information. At what tone is this information? Where does it vibrate? And so, because they can be channeling negative beings, low vibration beings that are a part of trying to keep us under control. So you got to use your discernment. You can't just sit there and think. And some of these people have huge followings. So I don't know. To me, you're better off working on your own communication and learning how to trust your own communication, because it's in there. It's just like it is too much noise, and you haven't learned how to work your way through the noise, how to find, like you got all these things going. And so it's like, okay, slow it down. Let's slow it down. Okay, so what's this? Okay, so where's that coming from? Okay, what's the messaging? Okay, so we got this. What's this? What's this talk? And so you start grabbing it and in deciphering, like to kind of like acknowledging it, but it's kind of like deciphering it and kind of like breaking it down and figuring out, like, okay, well, is this a positive or is this a negative influence? Is this, what kind of communication is this? What is it they're telling me? And don't forget too, the negative will feed into your ego and stuff, but they will try and keep you divided from other people. They'll try and keep you fighting and always defending yourself, and because they want to keep you in separation. They don't want us to have community and unity. That's this world is fed by hierarchy and division, dog eat dog world. And that is where you have to break through those programs. You have to break down that that indoctrination, that cloud of deceive, that and when you follow along with their world, you end up being a caged animal. You build a cage around yourself. And some of these channelers, or some of these people who are, saying that they're talking to these other beings, which you just don't know if they're high or low, then, but if they are helping you build a cage around yourself, you bet your ass they're lower vibration. And I've said before that the loudest voices in your head are going to be lower vibration. They're the loudest. And those are the ones you got to work through all the noise. You got to, like, I don't need to hear from you. Well, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. But it's once you can work your way through there, it's the quiet voice in the back of the room. It's the one that's back there that's quiet. Those are the ones you want to listen to. They're not going to be trying to override your system and stuff. They're just bringing in certain information that is like, and it to me, it comes in as like epiphanies. it's like, oh, yeah. And you just all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I see that. Oh, yeah. And, but there's also still another sense of it's you remembering, and there's a high-pitched squeal. Yeah, if you remembering, so it's like a lot of information is already in your coding. You have the code, your DNA code is your coding of existence, and which they break it down here and say, what's your DNA code? And they're trying to decipher it and try and see it because, like I've said before, they're for sure looking for certain beings, and they want to control and maintain certain energies. And so, but that is, a whole part of their, their gate, the gatekeeping. And so them looking in the way that they look is through testing and stuff in schools. And so they're always trying to get in to understand us, to use us. And they have ways of trying to find certain beings and stuff. But anyways, but there's you create your own cage by more of trying to participate in the system. But it's like you're looking for your ego to be patted on, like, you're great. And they will feed into your ego for negativity. And then they've also got like the monetary, oh, look, you can get money for this. And then that drives a lot of people into doing criminal or things that are immoral or unethical. So, but that's where you need to, realign yourself into your integrity, into your ethical side of yourself, your morals, because that is your soul. And so, but they are trying to pull at the part of you that is the ego that's looking for some other part, like of acceptance and stuff. So, but the core of you doesn't need all of that acceptance. But anyways, but that is your code, which, like I said, is what they would call your DNA code. But your coding is who you are. You're a code. You're an energetic being, an energetic source of, you're a source of energy that has a code, and your code is written through your experiences. So your code becomes who you are. But that's why they're looking for certain codes, because they want to try and find the beings that are more advanced in their coding so that they can try and stop them from rippling or the expression of the energetic kind of maneuvering of the merging of energies and stuff. So the ripple of certain concepts to ripple through other people's energy and waking them up and pulling them out of the game. And so anyways, but there's a lot of complexity to the whole thing. But anyways, but the spiritual world is the real thing. That's your real world. The rest of this shit is all just a made up storyline. It's just a movie. We've come in to be in this crazy ass movie. And it's so crazy too, because there's a part of us that knows what's going to happen, but we just can't remember. And so I think when things start occurring, then it's going to be like, oh, I remember. Oh, it's fine. We'll be fine. Everything's fine. But this is the bringing fear to the surface and stuff. But when you get too stuck in fear and you aren't able to move out of the fear into the spiritual sense of, oh, I'll be okay, that is a trapping. And that's where you got to go in and learn more things. But anyways, that's the divide that's going to occur, is the two energies. It's the controlling and dominant, hateful, all of those things are the energy that's going to separate from the loving, compassion, self-registering, sovereign, independent, that And don't forget, independence isn't just about you. It's not controlling others either. It's not trying to override other people's life experience and their energy. It's independence is the focus of you, of being your own focus, your own sovereign being. And when you do have all of the feelings of like needing to control others, that is out of fear, and that is what is going to hold you back. And so you want to move out of that controlling aspect and move into the not trying to dominate others and stuff, but in order to be just independent and focus on self, but be willing to do for others, to see what other people need and be willing to do for others. Which that redheaded nurse, she got fired, so she's out. Which she, it's like, dude, you shouldn't use your power over people in a hostile way like that. So, and she could be thinking, it's the worst thing that ever happened. But honestly, in the spiritual sense of things, it's the best thing that could happen, because it's part of you that you need to face. And the more that you face these sides of yourself, the more opportunity that you have to heal, which gives you more opportunity to be able to restructure and move yourself into the higher vibration, to move out of this density and into the space that most people want to go into, this heaven on earth, the age of Aquarius, and all of that business. So anyways, but we got to still see how everything is going to be playing out. I mean, it come in with this money, we're going to all get this money. And then it just kind of recedes. And then it's like, oh, well, wait, we're going to get money. And then, but right now there's just such a sense of hostility towards Donald, which really needs to come to the surface, especially when you see the psychologists sitting there saying how severe it is. Like, these people can't eat, they can't sleep, they're obsessed, they can't, every moment of their day is thinking about him and stuff like that. That is crazy. And, but, and I would say that's where the hostility and the anger and the overreaction is going to come from, is when they realize, like, what this place is, and how they've been consumed by it, and how it's used them. And then there's a lot of stuff you got to heal, because it's not just tricking you into it's taking parts of you, these negative parts of you, and then using them against you. That's why you got to do this cleansing of yourself. You got to cleanse yourself of your negative. You got to empty the fucking closet of your own demons, because they access into that and they use you against you. And so you have got to be the cleaner. You've got to cleanse yourself so that you cannot be used by them. But that's one thing, is like, it's not just like, oh, well, they forced me, they put me under mind control. They accessed points of you that were unhealed, points of you that were hostile, points of you that were hateful, and they used it to what they wanted to steer it in a certain direction. But those parts are in you. You're the one who has to go in and clean up the fucking shop, man. You got to clean out the dust. It's you. And but you got to recognize that. You can't just go full on into this victim mentality. Oh, poor me, I've been under mind control. They controlled parts of you that were able to be controlled. And so you got to go in and start, dissecting all the parts of you to find what parts of you can be controlled and why. Which, when you start finding out why, you're going to find the links to past lives. You're going to find these situations, and that's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to clear. You're trying to clear yourself of all of the experiences that you've gone through. So that's what it's all about to me. So your spiritual cleansing is it's taking yourself as the deeper spirit of you, the orb of you, the experiencer, the one that has gone through experience after experience, and to clean up what was the debris from each experience. Because when you just jump from experience to experience to experience, you just start filling your bags of baggage and hatefulness and hardship and terror and anger and bitterness. And then you come into this life and you have all these people coming to try and bring that up in you, but you have the tricksters over here trying to get you to think that's bad. But what it's good for your parents to bring this to the surface so that you can purge it out. And it's not, your parents aren't the creators of it. Your parents or your family members or the different people that have come into your life to bring things to the surface aren't the creators of these things. The things are inside of you. They were created in different lifetimes. But there's certain people in your life now that are there to promote you to bring certain things to the surface so that you can see what it is you need to clean up. But a lot of people, when it comes to the surface, they blame it on somebody else. It's your fault I feel like this. It's your fault I feel like this. It's like you don't want to be doing that. You want to be like, oh, what's coming up here? Oh, so I feel this way, and I feel this way about this. I feel this way about that. So how do I, where's it coming from? Why do I feel this? What do I do? How do I cleanse this? And that to me is a part of your communication too, because they will lead you. It will lead you through what it is that you need to do to cleanse yourself. It's not like you're just left on your own. There's a lot of things where you're left on your own. You got to figure things out for yourself. But when you are trying to cleanse your soul and trying to connect with parts of yourself, they will assist you. You've got assistance. You've got guidance. You've got a higher self. You got other beings out there. You got all sorts of stuff that will give you assistance to be able to maneuver through your healing. And that's why reflection and meditation and stuff are good tools to use. Even if you don't know how to do any of that stuff, you know how to go for a walk by yourself out in the woods next to a stream, and you know how to sit next to a stream quietly and just look at the water and feel. And that's a point in time where communication occurs. So you just got to figure out how to get to your communication, how you can hear it, how you can feel it, and know the questions to ask. And that's why working on your own communication is something that is very helpful to do. Not just focus on like, what's Donald doing today? What's this? What's happening here? What's happening there? There's all sorts of things happening. Like I said, it's excursions. Everything is going on. There's all these things happening for different beings and different people to have their stuff come up so that they can begin to see it. So anyways, but that's how I see it. Let me think if there was something else I was gonna see or say. The kids are still we got such a mess with the education system and the kids, and we got a lot of messes to clean up, man. We have a lot. There's a lot that still has to go on. I just don't see it as like all of a sudden, we're just suddenly in heaven on earth and everything's great. No, it's a journey. It's definitely a journey. And it's definitely a pathway. Because even like, say, in 6 weeks, this crazy thing happens and all these people disappear. There's still, all the people that are left here, there's still a healing and cleanup and aftermath. So it's not just suddenly we're going to all sit back and go, hey, they're gone. Now we got heaven on earth. Everything's great. It's not going to go like that. It's going to be like process what's happened. How do we rebuild? What do we do from here? And in the rebuilding, the restructuring, the recreating. So it's not going to just be suddenly, oh, look, we're in heaven. But it could be still when if the lights go out, that when they come on, things look a little different. And we're like, things are a little different. The colors are different. And to me, I swear to God, I've been seeing that for a while. Where I'm just like, man, things look different. Things keep looking different. And like right now, the sky, the sky looks different. And it definitely, to me, it looks like a merging of a bunch of different realities. Which, like I said, like we're in all these different realities. We're in all these different layers of existence at this time. We're just under a certain bubble of vibration so that we can have more access to all these ones. But And once the bubble goes, we're going to have access to way, way more. But still, when you go out of this reality, out of this world, you still can access all these other ones. This isn't the only way to access them, is that we have to blow this fucking bubble up. So, but that is a part of the ending of this world and the beginning of a new world. So anyways, but that's how I see it. That's what I see is going on. And I'm, the focus needs to be you, and cleaning yourself up. And yeah, I definitely think there's going to be this divide that's going to be the separation. But it's definitely not going to be like, oh, well, the blues will go here and the reds will go here, or the Christians will go there and the atheists will go there. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be more of the people who have love in their heart and are pure of their soul are going to go this direction. And the people who still carry a lot of weight of hatefulness and division and confusion and stuff, they're going to go in a different direction. And that is going to be a direction also that is dependent on somebody fixing it for them, a savior, and not taking responsibility for themselves. Not taking responsibility for yourself and playing into the victim mentality are both toxic things. You want to take responsibility and recognize the role you play in your own life. And even in the toxic relationships, you play a role. And you don't just have toxic people who are just out to get you. You play a role in the dynamic. And so anyways, it's the awakening is the recognition, it's the recognizing, it's the realizing and taking responsibility for yourself. So anyways, we'll see. So it's a Sunday. We'll see what this day brings us. And it's so crazy too, because it's like at any moment, it's like the timer's a ticking, the sand is a falling, and at any moment, everything can spin out and just suddenly just like, boom, here we are. So, and we don't know. I can just tell you, I feel it coming, and I know there's lots of other people, and you feel it coming, and it's just getting more and more intense. And so, well, you just have to wait and see what's going to go down. And just remember, whatever goes down, you're safe. You're here for it. Wherever you go, whatever occurs, that's the ride you rode in on. You're riding out on the same horse you rode in on. There's nothing to worry about. It's not like you can get on the wrong ride. It's not like you can go to the wrong space. You're going to always go right to where you're supposed to go, because that's the dynamics of this fucking universe. It's got way more order than what you've been taught, and it knows exactly what it's doing, and everything has to do with timing. And it's hard to understand timing until you get past it and you look back and you see like, oh, see how that got lined up, and that and that and that. So we're going to see a lot more once certain occurrences happen. That certain things will be like, oh, that makes sense now. Yeah, that makes sense. And at this time right now, everything just seems crazy and chaotic. We got crazy around us everywhere. There's just so much crazy out there. So, and the crazy is going to get crazier. And I think that's what the guard's going to come in to try and, get the crazy to control, get the crazy under control, to simmer down out here. So anyways, but until whatever goes down, you can't go wrong by working on yourself. And working on yourself means learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want to have, because your world is your focus. So whatever you focus on becomes what you are and who you are. And we're witnessing that. So if you think that sounds crazy, well, look at the world. You can see it happening. So anyways, but we'll see what this day brings us. And we'll talk about it tomorrow. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.